Ladies and gentlemen, your eyes do not deceive you. I have decided to make it out of my busy schedule, and hop onto a stream here. So it is week 13, the calm before the storm. I'm Kevin Tompkins, of course, at K Tompkins I. Mr. Gary Haddow to my right, my partner in crime, at Haddow 27, of course. Britt Flinn underscore. I'm sorry, at. I'm new to this hosting thing. I haven't done it in a couple weeks. At Britt underscore Flinn. How we doing? Welcome to week 13. We're on to week 13, as old Hoodie would say.
Best day ever.
Packers are on a bye, so I'm not really tied to like much football today, honestly.
Doesn't that like leave you feeling listless though sometimes when your team's on a bye?
Little bit. That's why I put a turkey in today to cook, so I can like half watch that, half watch terrible NFC North football that's on otherwise.
It's going to be sloppy in a lot of situations today. For
Yes.
lots of reasons.
Yes, absolutely, and not just weather, which we'll talk about that right now. Arizona at Chicago. It's gonna be raining there, folks. Lots of wind, about 15 mile per hour sustained. So that could be ugly for Andy Dalton and whoever the Arizona Cardinals quarterback is today. We will definitely talk about that. New England and Buffalo for Monday. Snow showers should be a lot of fun. Should be your typical December upstate New York kind of weather. I certainly know a lot about that being from Syracuse. So it's not lake effect crap there, but it's not good. So temper some expectations there with, by the way, hashtag nice 69% chance of precipitation. Thank you, Britt, for that one.
Josh Allen special.
We love that here. And then transitioning back to today, Chargers and Cincinnati, which is one of the games I really like today as far as some offensive potential. Early morning snow transitioning to rain, so that could get a little murky. 64%, not 63,
We're
not
almost
65, but 64% chance precipitation at game time. So and then San Francisco at Seattle, a rain likely. Stop the presses, it's going to rain in Seattle. So of those games, I mean, I feel like that's going to affect the Buffalo and New England the most, but look for the the Bengals and Chargers. I really like that game, but does that kind of temper expectations as far as starting your Keenan Allens, your Higgins, your Chases, your all those guys?
I don't think so. I think Mike Williams, I was like, is Gary going to go? We're so out of sync. No, there's not really going to be any wind. The only concern I have with starting people, like Chase or Higgins, is that LA is so bad against the run. I'm really concerned that they're just going to run it down their throats the whole time and not really pass a lot. Because the past couple weeks, Joe Burrow hasn't hit 30 pass attempts. They've just been running Mixon the whole time. And then if that pattern continues, I mean, this is the prime matchup to do it. And so that's the only thing that I'm concerned about.
There's just so much on the line with that game for like real football implications and playoffs and stuff that I think it's just going to be full steam ahead and they're just going to make it work. But yes, on the ground, it's going to be where it's at. And then I'm still going to start those guys though. I mean, it's hard to get past Allen and Chase in particular. And then Mike Williams and Higgins probably don't have better options, but maybe.
Yeah, a little bit dicey. I'm still kind of going full steam ahead with your Ecklers and your Mixons, and then still, I think Herbert will still be playable. Certainly Keenan Allen. I'm maybe tempering my expectations on Mike Williams just because of his boomer bust nature. I mean, Chase has got to get going at some point. I mean, he only saw 3 targets last week, and a little bit of cause for concern there. But I think I talked about it, a while back that. With Jamar Chase's hot start, defenses are keen on it and are going to try to do what they can to take him away. And we've seen T. Higgins do a lot in the past couple of weeks here. He's, been a little bit boomer bust, but He's definitely produced, not quite to what you expected of Jamar Chase, not to that degree, but enough to where it's kept defenses honest, and certainly Mixon has been, dare I say, one of the league winners of the running back position, besides Taylor and Eckler. So, yeah, fire up your Mixons, fire up your Ecklers, and then kind of tread water a little bit on the pass receivers. Let's talk about some injuries here, because we do have quite a bit and some interesting issues here. Of course, we are no strangers to the quarterback position with Arizona, with Kyler Murray's ankle being a game time decision today. Luckily, they do play at 1:00, so we'll get some clarity on that in about a half an hour. DeAndre Hopkins, both are likely to play per Adam Schefter. Murray, I'm a little bit less worried about. Hopkins has not really practiced that much, if at all. So I think if he does get in, that's probably your classic, your decoy situation with the Hopkins. So I'm firing up my Kirks, firing up my Rondale Moores. How are you guys addressing DeAndre Hopkins in the event that he plays? Tandem that with Kyler Murray, and then you can add in your Kirks, your Ertzes, your Rondale Moores. How you guys addressing that particular situation?
I just don't know how you sit Hopkins if he's in. He's just so good. And even if in the red zone, he's just such a weapon that you're gonna have to start him. You just got to lower your expectations from a 1 to a 2 or back end 2. But I don't know. Kirk's the riser there if Hopkins is banged up, just to draw some attention. And then Rondale's Rondale. Like, he got a ton of targets. What was it last week? But I never know what the heck to do with him.
Yeah, I don't know if you really have better options out there. It is week 13. Waivers are kind of picked clean for the most part. I mean, there's a ton of injuries, as Kevin just said. You've got to play him, but yeah, don't expect big numbers. Now, I am really excited about Zach Ertz in this matchup.
Yeah.
If Kyler comes back. Chicago's been pretty lackluster against the tight end position or defending the tight end position. And Ertz, when I say lackluster, they're 28th over the past 4 weeks. So yeah, I should have used stronger adjectives, but I think Ertz has gotten a ton of targets. Murray trusts him. I would fire him up.
It makes me love James Conner.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, dude. Connor's top 6 for me today. I think he's definitely earned it. Edmonds is getting closer to coming back, so that could certainly put a wrinkle in your James Conner league winner, heading into playoff time. So, worry about that. In the coming week here, week to 2 weeks. I'm a little worried about Rondale Moore. I really, there's no question about his talent, no question about what he can do when they get the ball in his hands, but he is very, very game script dependent. And he's almost like that Nyheim Hines kind of usage where it could vary just so wildly from one game to another, and then add a wrinkle to where if it's Colt McCoy and not Kyler Murray, if he even gets into the game at some point, that could certainly up the stock. And obviously, you don't know that going in. You're under the assumption that if Kyler is active, he's going to be in there the whole time. You got to play that like that. So yeah, that makes Rondale Moore one of the toughest start-sit questions heading into week 13, certainly. In some leagues, I have to play him just because he is a body and he is going to be playing the game of football this week and today. So you got to do what you got to do. But if you have him and you have to make a decision, I mean, it's hard to even trust when you have guys that, maybe like a Josh Reynolds or a Amon-Ra St. Brown or guys like that are in that kind of tier, even like a returning Devontae Parker. That's tough for me to be able to choose more between that type of tier of wide receiver.
Yep.
Let's get into some more of these injuries here. Brandon Cooks has an illness, but is likely to play. David Johnson from the Texans also is unlikely to play today. There's a little bit of a bug going around in Houston, also nursing a thigh injury. Giants wide receivers, I mean, they're all hurt, a tale as old as time. John Ross with a quad, also an illness, is questionable. Kyle Rudolph with an ankle, and then of course Daniel Jones, the quarterback, out with a neck injury. That brings in Don Flamenco himself, Mike Glennon. For those of you who love Mike Tyson's Punch Out as much as I do and couldn't beat Mike Tyson until he was 27 years old. Sterling, true story, by the way. Sterling Shepard out with a quad injury. Kadarius Toney out with a quad and oblique. So fire up your Kenny Galladay's and your Darius Slaytons for some reason if you roster them. Otherwise, I mean, we're looking at pretty much the usual suspects here with Corey Davis with a groin injury. Likely, he's tough because he hasn't been able to gut out this groin injury, and that's opened the door for Elijah Moore as far as getting a season high of routes run last week, getting closer to 90%, which is what we love. But I mean, the Jets got Zach Wilson. It's so hard to trust anybody with Zach Wilson at quarterback. But other than that, James Robinson with a heel and injury is likely to play, but will probably gut it out against the Rams. I don't know if he's even a top 24 play for me today. What do you guys think about James Robinson today?
Yeah, it affects running backs so much with their cutting and with a heel and a knee, and especially against the Rams. Like, if you've got to play him, but I'm definitely not going to be expecting double digit, like huge numbers from him.
Yep. I don't know. It is what it is. I think that you may have to play him just because I don't know who else you're going to have. Hopefully you're not in that spot.
Yeah. And one possible pivot, if Carlos Hyde is out there, that could be a lower end flex option there to potentially plug into your lineup. Speaking of plug and play running backs, we talked about David Johnson. Let's talk about Rex Burkhead and what do we think about Rex Burkhead? I'm under the assumption that it's one of those kind of empty volume scenarios with Rex Burkhead, where he could probably get 15 to 18 carries, but for low volume. It's against Indianapolis, who I would consider, that's one of the higher over-unders, or not over-unders, but point spreads today, with Indianapolis a 10-point favorite. Could get some passing down work, but, Gary, I know you wanted to discuss Burkhead. What do you think?
So for me, I can't say he's a back end 2, but I actually think he could be a high end 3 solely because of the passing game work. If Cooks is banged up, I mean, our fearless Andrew Cooper, tight end guru, talks about Brevin Jordan, but like, who the hell else do they have? It's Nico Collins. Amendola is I think he just had surgery. I mean, there's literally no one else there. So we have seen Burkhead be this Swiss Army knife for so many different teams that in this one random ass spot matchup against a tough front, I could just see Burkhead getting dump offs. The problem is, and this is my question for you two, is has Tyrod been showing that he's been doing that? I will admit I have not been really watching or paying attention to the Texans with Tyrod back. Or ever.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Texans for me outside of Cooks have been hands off. I'm not touching anybody just because there is nobody there that's really gaining any kind of target volume. I mean, last week, Burkhead caught 3 of 3. He only ran routes in 17% of dropbacks. So it's still pretty much just an even spread of it's gross. Outside of Cooks, you really can't pin anything on any other running back. So, it's wide receiver, tight end. I'm looking at right now, out of 32 dropbacks and out of 15, 24, 25, he targeted the running back position 6 times out of 25 pass attempts last week. So it's still kind of iffy. And that's kind of goes in line with the mobile quarterbacks not really targeting the running back position. And it's a historical kind of context with that too.
Yeah, I I'll admit I just watch Red Zone for the majority of the games outside of, the primetime games. And I rarely see anything that Burkhead's done. He might get those little dink and dunk targets, but I don't even want to say if he has a safe floor or not, because Indy is so good, especially in their turnover differential, that I'm concerned, Burkhead has had a couple fumble problems and he's a smaller dude, and going up against like Darius Leonard, I'm afraid that Leonard's going to force him to fumble and just get them out of the game completely. So.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. God, I don't think we've ever devoted this much time to the Texans. So before we scare everybody
That's
off.
my fault. It's my fault.
How dare you, Gary? Let's go over to Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts is out. Insert Gardner Minshew, which is a mildly interesting play today against the Jets. Don't know how much I would trust that, considering how run heavy. The last 3 weeks, they've run 70% like runs. It's been just wild with Philadelphia's run game. Boston Scott likely out. He has an illness, and that should open the door for Miles Sanders to just gain a lot of volume. And I really like him as a top 20 play today. But Jalen Hurts not being active certainly helps that. Probably wanting to keep the ball out of Minshew's hands and having to create plays. So against a Jets team that, is clearly at the bottom rung of the NFL, that's probably a recipe for just like 30 touches for Miles Sanders. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but how are we feeling about Miles Sanders?
Well, have they actually ruled Hurts out? Because I saw two different things. One source said that he was out, and then Adam Schefter came out and said that he would he would test it out in warmups. So I don't think he's officially been.
He is now, as of 21 minutes ago. Tim
okay,
McManus,
perfect.
Yeah, download the Fantasy Life app.
Okay, I have it, but I'm on a podcast, so I'm not on my phone. I'll put it right
responsible.
up here. I'll put it up here where I listen.
Gotta get one of these bad boys. Put your phone on.
Yeah, we got a company man here. Fantasy Life app, man.
Oh man,
that's right.
All right. All right.
I just also have to say
it did come out 10:02. I'll put it right here where I see it. But I'm really glad to hear that, because I dropped Jalen Hurts in the Weenus League and picked up Minshew, and I was going to be really stressed out if I had to go and pull an old switcheroo before the game started.
I like Minshew above all the replacement quarterbacks this week. So we'll get to that, because there's a lot of questions, I think, that are going to be about him. I think that he is capable. We've seen him be capable. My question to you, and Brian Drake posed this on Twitter, and it was something I'm debating, is, does Minshew help or hurt Devonta Smith? And I actually think he helps him, because he's not going to be running. They are going to be passing. So it's going to be Miles Sanders, Devonta, and Goddard.
I agree. I think it's a big upgrade, because it's like Cooper said a couple weeks ago on the lightning round. Running quarterbacks don't pass as often as they sometimes should, and they don't hand off as often as they should. So I think it gives the entire offensive weaponry as a whole an upgrade.
Yeah, and it's been very consolidated that with such low pass attempts and just so low pass volume in Philadelphia lately, it's really condensed to Goddard and Devonta Smith, with Devonta Smith being the quote unquote alpha. Say what you will about the pass volume, but he's kind of been that. And then Goddard's kind of fallen a little bit. He hasn't been what we thought he was going to be with Zach Ertz being shipped out to Arizona, but that's not his fault. That's really just the offensive philosophy changing almost on a dime to just feature run. Maybe we'll pass and then run some more. So it is what it is, but that should help those two at least. And then you always got your deep shots of the Rager and Quez Watkins, and then whatever the hell else Sirianni wants to do. But yeah, let's hit these injuries real quick, and then we know we've got a bunch of questions in the chat here, so we'll definitely hit those up in just a minute here. And just going over some of the questionable tags, and they will come out very soon, about 10 minutes or so, as far as official inactives. Deshaun Jackson for the Raiders, Josh Jacobs with an ankle, both questionable today in the late slate. Odell Beckham and Darrell Henderson with thigh injury and a hip injury. Alex Collins, Travis Homer, Rashad Penny, all banged up. That's why Seattle went out and got the 97-year-old Adrian Peterson and apparently are making him active for the late slate. I mean,
just so ridiculous.
We can't quit Adrian Peterson at this point. Like, we're never going to, he's like a barnacle. You're never going to get rid of the dude.
Well, it is Seattle, and, they do have drug problems, so.
Anyway, we're going to switch off of that one. No pun intended. Clyde Edwards-Helaire with an illness for the Sunday night game, Denver at Kansas City. So if you still got your Darrell Hendersons, I mean, kind of keep tabs on him if you've got an open flex spot and, maybe want to pivot off of like a Cole Beasley or something like that, who's just kind of sitting out there. If you want to throw in a running back, if something happens to CEH, not a bad pivot there against a Denver team. Some players that are out today, Justin Fields and Damian Williams for the Chicago Bears, as well as Allen Robinson and Marquise Goodwin. So fire up your Darnell Mooney's. Love him today. Arizona is pretty solid against the pass game, but Andy Dalton just loves to throw the ball out there. And Mooney's gotten a lot of target volume. So I don't think it just has to be deep balls for Darnell Mooney. I think he can keep on with target volume, and he's got multiple outs toward having a good day. He was one of the guys I wrote about in the Fantasy Life newsletter on Friday. So check that out if you have not subscribed. DeAndre Swift with a shoulder injury. So that puts Jamal Williams as, for me, a top 12 running back today. Granted, the matchup it's okay. It's not bad. It's against Minnesota at home. Detroit is getting their first win today.
Wow. No. No.
I don't.
Clip it.
No.
That's a $5 bet between us, man. No way.
I'll do it. I swear to God, I'll do it right now.
That's a spicy take for sure.
Adding it to the
getting
sheet.
their first win today.
Ugh,
so
gross. I mean, I would love for it to happen, man. Like
Josh Reynolds, 120 yards receiving and a touchdown. Jamal Williams with 100 total yards and a touchdown. Detroit, I think they win by a touchdown.
And Greg Joseph misses a last-second field goal to seal it.
You can name, yeah. You can name anybody. Don't put bad juju on Greg Joseph. All right. So, yeah, other than that, Phillip Lindsay with an ankle injury is out for the Miami Dolphins. Dalvin Cook, of course, with a shoulder injury. So Alex Madison is a top 5 running back for me today. Fire up your Madisons if you got him stashed away. We talked about the Giants players, and then heading into the late slate, a couple heavy hitters. Darren Waller with a knee and a back injury out for the Raiders in their matchup against the Washington football team. So Foster Moreau is a worthy replacement if you need a tight end, and if he's somehow out there. And then turned into a running back, Deebo Samuel, out with a groin injury. So sneaky play Juwan Jennings for the San Francisco 49ers. Elijah Mitchell, of course, without Deebo kind of taking away his running back duties, is probably more of a top 8, top 10 play today. Other than that, let's get into some questions. I feel like they've been sitting here for a while, and we got a little bit of a waiting public here.
I love it. Let's do it.
All right, our good friend Axel Jansen, Mike Glennon or Andy Dalton for QB2. I would probably lean toward Andy Dalton today. I'm not touching Mike Glennon with a 20-foot pole.
Yeah, you got to do Andy Dalton with his neck.
Yeah, I mean, he's no Dougie Mills, but I mean, Glennon, go look up, go Google image search Mike Glennon, and then go Google image search Donna Flamenco from Mike Tyson's Punch Out. It's like the same person. Alex Kessman, by the way, the new Jets kicker. Thank you, Linda. I now know that. Jason Myers or Graham Gano for kicker number 2.
I think you have to go Gano. I think that the Giants can move it enough to get within field goal range. I don't think they're going to score a ton of touchdowns against Miami, but
I'm going to go with Jason Myers. The Giants defense is good enough to slow things down a little bit. But yeah, I'm gonna go Jason Myers.
Yeah, I like Myers too. I mean, the Giants against Miami. Miami's just been on fire lately. I don't know if they're gonna. I mean, they put up like just massive points on. If you have them as your defense in fantasy, they've been like the pickup the last 4 or 5 weeks. So, gonna go Jason Myers here. I think they find a way to keep it close in Seattle with that home field advantage, but I think San Francisco wins. What?
I said the Giants defense. I was thinking Jason Sanders.
I mean, hey, that could
Myers.
Yeah, my bad. But yeah. Jason Myers still.
Shit happens. It is what it is. Kevin Chubb, Jamison Crowder, Rondale Moore, or Jeff Wilson. With this group,
Corey Davis is active.
And Kyler and Hopkins are active also. So, oof.
Give me Rondale.
Ooh. Flip a coin. I'm going Rondale for ceiling, Crowder for floor, depending on what you need.
I'm very concerned about if with Corey Davis active now, Elijah Moore. He ran routes on 96% of dropbacks last week without Corey Davis there. This is the first week that he was ahead of Jamison Crowder as far as routes run in a given week. Crowder down to 75%. With Davis, Moore, if they give Moore an outside role like he has been, I mean, Davis is going to be that X receiver. Probably Moore will be the flanker and then Crowder will be in the slot. So I just hope they keep the train going with Elijah Moore and just feed your best player. Corey Davis can eat all the man cover or the press coverage, and fingers crossed. But not big on Crowder. I mean, the ancillary options I'm just not a fan of.
No, with Zach Wilson back too, that throws another wrench into it because he's shown that he likes Corey Davis as a big target, and so I think that downgrades Moore and Crowder both a little. So.
Rondale it is, Kev.
Yeah, and the thing, and too, I mean, the beginning of the season, Zach Wilson, when like Crowder came back, he loved the slot. Like he was peppering Crowder, but now it's just I don't even know. I mean, it's just so in flux. But Elijah Moore has been kind of that constant in the offense, and now with everybody back, that makes it tougher to start Elijah Moore. I think you still have to based on just his potential and just his fantasy points, what he can do for you. But let's see here. Godwin, Igwebuike. Really?
Igwebuike.
You got to make me try to pronounce both of these names.
Igwebuike. It's Kene Nwangu?
Gwangwu.
I know it's Igwebuike. I know that one. I'm actually going to go with Igwebuike because I want to know what Kene's illness status is because he's been sick and I don't know how much that's going to impact stuff. I would prefer him if it wasn't for the illness because I think Jamar Jefferson gets run over Igwebuike.
Well, we still don't really know how healthy Jefferson is coming back because, he tweaked his ankle a couple weeks ago too. I think that they were going to use like CJ Ham over Kene. So I'm going Igwebuike.
Interesting.
Let's do that. Give me Nwangwu. I just
you have a stake in this though.
I do. I have a little bit of stake in the game. I have him in a couple leagues where I have to start him. But I feel like still that he is going to have. I mean, they've come out and said that he is going to have a role on offense. He's still going to be on special teams, but I think he could be a change of pace to Madison, and especially if they get up. He's not going to be a run the tackles kind of guy by any means, but I still think that he can be kind of a short passing game, which acts as a running game and get 3 or 4 easy catches. And we've seen what he can do in space. He had he's electric in the return game. So I think that kind of thing can translate over where it's a dart throw. It's certainly a DFS dart throw based on his illness. And if he is active, which it should come out any moment now, if it hasn't already. Not yet. Don't see Minnesota on there yet, but yeah, I like him over Igwebuike. They converted cornerback, by the way. I did find that out earlier this week.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Who you got, Glennon or Minshew? Not just Minshew, but Minshew.
Well, this week
he is a grown man.
It do be like that.
It does. I do think his swag is a little limited in Philly, though, because there's no way he's wearing jorts in December.
You need to see his walking in video that Mike Garofalo posted. I've already tweeted about it like 3 times. Dude is ready.
I love it.
He swagged out?
Yeah, I mean, I have actually. There's a link if anybody wants to see it. Posted in the chat.
Go to his Twitter page at Haddow27.
I posted Garofalo's.
But, gotcha.
Yeah, dude. Minshew looks like he's ready to go. He's Goose from Top Gun. You'll see, when you see it, it'll make sense.
Wangwu is active, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, I've got to go Minshew. I can't trust Mike Glennon, especially with all the weapons out for him.
Yeah, give me Minshew. I think it's Glennon is like bottom of the barrel as far as like starting caliber quarterbacks. I have him only ahead of Zach Wilson. So that's where we're at. Pick one: Devontae Parker, Josh Reynolds, or DeAndre Carter. I like DeAndre Carter before Logan Thomas came back, and now that he's back and it's pretty much McLaurin and Thomas, I'm not really touching anybody else outside of the your usual Antonio Gibson. So eliminate him. Reynolds versus Parker is tough. I like Reynolds though. I would give Reynolds a shot today. Parker's still coming back off of injury. But Miami's been hot. But they've been hot through Waddle and Gesicki and just timely plays by their defense. I don't know if Parker's going to find his way into a big piece of that, while Reynolds has pretty much came in and is already running a starter share of routes ahead of like Khalif Raymond and guys like that. So obvious rapport with Jared Goff in their time with the Rams. Give me Reynolds.
Yeah, if this helps kind of differentiate between Parker and Reynolds, the Vikings are literally giving up the most fantasy points to wide receivers over the past 4 weeks. And the Giants are all the way down at 8th best against the wide receivers. So I think coming back from injury definitely dings Parker as well. So I'm taking a flyer on Reynolds.
In DFS, I think Reynolds will be a way higher owned than Parker, just if you wanted to be contrarian. I'm really curious if James Bradbury would be on Devontae Parker, if he's going to be more on Waddle, but Waddle, plays so much out of the slot that I don't know if that's going to happen. So I'm going to go with Reynolds regardless, but
yeah, he probably sticks on Parker if he does anything, because Waddle
I don't think Parker's good enough to overcome that.
No, I mean, he's got size on him, but that's pretty much the only thing you could probably pencil him in for a touchdown or at least a couple red zone targets for Miami. But I mean, we know touchdowns are fluky. So yeah, I like Josh Reynolds in this offense. I mean, he had a touchdown last week, 3 for 70 on 5 targets. Probably going to have to throw a little bit more today. Yeah, should be fun. Yeah, my Josh Reynolds shares in best ball are definitely looking a lot rosier when I took him as the guy who I thought would be the second target in Tennessee before they went out and got Julio Jones. So,
plus he's going to lead the Lions to a win. So,
yeah, that's right. Cue the Undertaker gift, by the way, for Josh Reynolds. Marquise Brown or T. Higgins for a flex standard, leaning Brown from our good friend Peter Byrne. I would also be leaning Brown here. As much as I love T. Higgins, that Chargers pass defense is pretty stout. And Marquise Brown only needs one deep target for a touchdown to make his day. I think he's due. Give me Marquise Brown over T. Higgins.
Yep.
Yeah, and Pittsburgh's defense is a shell of its once former self. It's instead of the steel curtain, it's like the satin curtain, like super soft.
The steel, like tissue paper.
Yeah. That sounds painful.
Papier-mâché. Yeah.
But yeah.
Plus no TJ Watt, so that doesn't help. That certainly helps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Washington football team, Seattle. I almost said Seattle Hawks. Close enough. Chicago Bears for the second defense.
Ooh, Axel.
I'm going with Washington. Seahawks have just been a terrible defense, even if it is a divisional matchup. Arizona is going to roll the Bears, and there's no Waller. So, although I do think that Carr puts up points, I do also just think that Washington is probably the better defensive front of those three teams.
Yeah, I mean, Washington does have Cam Curl. I think that they can force Carr into a couple turnovers, maybe a couple sacks, even without Montez Sweat and Chase Young. But I don't really feel good going with any of these defenses, to be quite honest. But
Axel, I'm with you, buddy. Washington. I have skin in this game. I literally drop the Bears and pick up Washington. So I'm in the foxhole with you, buddy, today on this one. I mean, you really want to start Seattle against San Francisco? I mean,
no.
the only, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I couldn't start Chicago against Arizona. Not against this. Not in this economy.
There he is. He's back. He's back.
Yes.
Not gonna do it. Michael Pittman or Tyler Lockett, PPR. This is interesting. Yeah. I think I still Michael Lockett though.
I think I would too. And it feels dirty. Like it feels like Pittman should have a game, but I mean his counterpart on the other side of the field, man, Texan Slayer T.Y. Hilton.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Like T.Y. Hilton in his career against the Texans always just demolishes. Plus the over-under, and I mean, not even the over-under, but the spread is so big. Obviously, JT is going to have a huge game. And I think even Nyheim Hines comes in there and puts up decent numbers against the Texans. So, and Russell Wilson hates DK Metcalf. So
hates. Yeah, I mean, just the way that offense works in Indianapolis, it is Pittman. We're going to be talking about T.Y. when T.Y. Hilton is like a coach, like a wide receivers coach, when he's 60 years old. We're going to continue to talk about that narrative, that T.Y. Hilton narrative against the Texans, even when he's not playing. Like, totally. It is the most like, it's not quite Jerome Bettis is from Detroit, but it's pretty close. Or like Ryan Fitzpatrick went to Harvard.
It's like he has a voodoo doll of the entire Texans team and just like breaks their legs or their ankles every time.
Kind of want to put him in a DFS lineup now. Not gonna lie.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, should I do another one?
I got a couple going right now. Renfro or James Robinson in the flex. Renfro's a top 20 play for me today. Gotta go Renfro for me, especially with Robinson hobbled.
I'm going top 15 for Renfro.
Yeah, he's
gonna be awesome.
He's a great route runner out of the slot anyway. And, he could have Cam Curl working on him, but that route running ability is just so clean that I think he escapes. And with Waller out, Moreau's probably going to get his as well, but Renfro's definitely the top target on that team.
I was looking at my DFS lineup and I realized that yesterday I had Devontae Parker in there, so I got to switch him out. Gonna have to do a little tinkering on that one. Yeah. I mean, Renfro, without Waller, it's really him. It's really Renfro, Drake, deep shots to Jackson and Zay Jones. Brian Edwards maybe, comes off the milk cart and maybe he'll do a little something, but it's going to have to run through Renfro and Jacobs and whatever.
Foster Moreau. I think it'll be Foster Moreau and Renfro that'll just be gobbling.
The island of Foster Moreau. Yes.
Yeah.
You'll love to see it.
I'm fire today, dude.
Back in form. Let's go.
Yeah.
Taylor, look at this. Taylor Eckler. This has to be DFS. Taylor, Eckler, and Mixon. Who scores the highest of the three?
Taylor.
If you're talking typical DFS, which is half PPR,
I think DK mostly.
Yeah, she would know.
So
DraftKings.
that still has PPR, I believe.
DK's full
Oh,
point.
DK's FanDuel's half. I'm sorry. I am
Yeah.
a FanDuel guy because they gave me money. Not a paid advertisement. Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if any of these three score the highest, honestly.
Yeah.
Like it is literally if you have one of a 3-sided coin, I mean,
yeah,
for the 0 of you that have one.
I'm leaning Eckler just because of the PPR aspect, and I think that the game is kept tighter, and Eckler gets slightly more targets than Mixon, so that's my tiebreaker on that. And like I said before, I really think that Nyheim Hines makes his way into this game against Houston if and when they get the lead.
I dig it. Gary?
The one thing about Mixon, 2 of their starting offensive line are out. It was just declared a few minutes ago. I don't know if that's a huge deal, but I mean, they are going against Joey Bosa and stuff. So might have to temper a tiny bit of expectations there. I mean, it's Jonathan Taylor by a landslide for me, just because that's the softest defense.
Yeah, and I can't see the Indianapolis ever going pass heavy. I mean, they've never. That's something they haven't done. I mean, they just literally ride the running backs, and they want to keep, just that train. That game might be over by like 3:20 Eastern, just because I feel like that game is going to be just quick moving, not a lot of passing. Yeah, so I would go with Taylor here. Yeah, I do see where Trey Hopkins for the center for the Bengals and Riley Reif are out for the Bengals. That definitely does make that a little bit tougher for Mixon, but all three, those are your 3 league winners as far as running backs go this season. So good luck if you have 1 or 2, which is certainly possible. Najee Harris, Alex Madison, Fournette, or Cordell Patterson, the hashtag not a gimmick running back. Pick one. Madison. Though Fournette is close.
If this is DFS, then, which I'm assuming it is,
Fournette's probably cheaper.
Yeah, Fournette, they put Madison up to 7,600 on DK. So
yeah, and he was like 87. He has the same prices as Dalvin Cook. I mean, they bumped him up to 8,700.
Like completely. So I'm honestly leaning Fournette. I think it's between Fournette and Patterson for me, just assuming that this is DFS and salary wise. Tampa should get up fast on Atlanta, and I hate to ride last week's success into this week's, but I think that they're going to ride Fournette. So I think that's my pick.
I dig it. I like Fournette with a little bit of price, sensitivity on that versus Madison, where, I mean, he's getting blown up. He's not your like $6,000, price range running back where you can slot him in. He's going to be he'll probably still be mega chalk anyway. He'll probably be like 35% rostered in like GPPs. But I mean, Fournette will probably be in like that 17 to 20, but it's way better than 35.
Well, honestly, today's a day that you almost eat the chalk on a bunch of the plays just because there's such big locks. Like Antonio Gibson being 5,700 is just crazy.
He's in my lineup.
Has to eat the chalk. Eat the chalk.
him and Jamal Williams are in Eckler in my lineup right now.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I actually have a Herbert stack with Eckler and Keenan Allen. I'm kind of figuring I might take Allen out. I don't know, because we're a little bit worried about that. But he's just been so damn consistent.
He's so good.
Yeah, and Williams has been literally peaks and valleys. Gibson, Gaskin, Barkley, Sanders, Williams. Pick one. I'm assuming that's Javonte. By the way, Javonte's season begins today.
Yes,
with Melvin Gordon out.
I think you still have to go Gibson with McKissick being out. I mean, Wendell Smallwood isn't going to do anything. The Raiders are really bad against the run. I do like Williams, obviously. I'm a Javonte truther, but Kansas City's defense has kind of improved a little bit, and it is a divisional matchup. And I feel like during those, all rules are off and nothing makes sense and the world's upside down. So I'm going to go with Gibson.
Hear me out. Miles Sanders.
You just love your Miles Sanders, man.
I hate
none
Miles
of these.
And truth be told, I have been like completely off Miles Sanders like the entire offseason and most of this season. But you can't ignore Boston Scott being kind of hobbled. Jordan Howard's out. They want to run the ball like any time that they can. Miles Sanders is like the healthiest option. Apparently, him and Nick Sirianni had breakfast together, unconfirmed, but
this is clear-cut Gibson for me. Like everybody else is a tier below Gibson.
I mean, I think Gibson's the lowest salary out of close to. I mean, he's certainly less than Barkley, certainly less than probably Javonte. No, this is just I'm guessing, right? You know, I mean, I looked at it yesterday, but I know Gibson's low and Gaskin's probably around there, but I don't like him as much. Sanders is probably like another 400 to 500 more than that. But
if Sellers actually hits the Millie Maker or something off of asking us questions, setting his lineup, you have to become like a patron and a sponsor for the show.
Well, I'm talking about trying to win that Millie for the best ball for the underdog Millie Maker contest. Yeah. I'm still over 100 points in first on that one. So
yeah.
If either of us hit, then we will become very great sponsors.
Yeah, I'm still first in mine, by the way, too. So here we go.
Hell yeah. Nice.
Absolutely. Need to PPR more Jefferson, Mike Williams. I think Van Jefferson's lock button in for me. I really like Van Jefferson today. Even I don't know if Odell Beckham's going to be able to run a full complement of routes like he did previously. I know he's banged up too. Kupp is going to get his, but if you're looking for an option outside of Odell Beckham, I think Van Jefferson's got to be like one of the probably highest rostered players, as for in DFS certainly. But I mean, he's close to a top 24 play for me today. And then I think you still go with Moore over Williams. And that's tough to say considering the awesome start that Williams has had, but it's almost like you start him and he goes 3 targets, 2 for like 40. And then you don't start him and he goes like 11 targets, 8 for 97 and 2 touchdowns. It's the way the world works with Mike Williams.
Yeah, I think the Rams are going to be out there to prove all the haters that they're actually a legit team after losing the last 3 in a row. So I don't think they're going to let up on the gas even after getting up to a huge lead. So Van Jefferson's a huge lock for me. And then it's more even with Wilson, because I mean, the weather in Cincinnati and the Chargers defense takes him out of it for me.
Gary, what say you, brother?
I'm going with Van Jefferson.
And
want to see
second one
too. Sorry about that. Mike Williams, just YOLO. I'm just going to see what happens. I'd rather trust Justin than I would trust Zach. So,
yeah, I don't hate it. I mean, either way, they're Moore and Williams are close together anyway. So, I mean, it's like almost to pick your poison. Whoever you don't start is going to go off. It's just the way the world works. We can hit some of these quick because I know we're going up against it here. Mr. Axel Jansen, D. Eskridge, the elder statesman of the Seattle Seahawks passing game. Scotty Miller or Ray McLeod for wide receiver 4 in PPR. Eskridge has been getting involved. I think I would go with him over these other 2.
I thought that Ray was on COVID.
He was. I think he's off.
Oh, they activated him. Yeah, I'm going to go with Ray McLeod. I mean, he was actually getting a lot of targets, and they just need some extra little juice there. And I'm praying. Let me put it that way, and I don't pray, but I'm praying that the Steelers-Ravens game becomes a shootout and not just a crap fest a la Browns-Ravens.
Oh, that game was so bad. I I think Ray McLeod is better when Mason Rudolph is in rather than when Ben is in. And watching the game last week with Seattle, Russ was targeting Eskridge a ton. So I'm going to go Eskridge.
Yeah, it's always good to get the veterans involved, certainly. So, I mean, he's like a 34-year-old rookie. So
their first pick. I mean,
yeah, they're not. Yeah, exactly. Going a little more deep here. JJ Arthega-Whiteside, Ben Skowronek, Dede Westbrook for wide receiver 5 in PPR. I think the next question would be Kevin Tompkins, Gary Haddow, or Britt Flinn for wide receiver 6. That's how deep we're getting.
Yeah, this one's
I'll take you too, buddy.
Ben Skowronek, just because why the hell not?
Yeah, spread. Henderson's out. Ugh. And his name's fun to spell. That's going to be it for me. That's going to be the tiebreaker.
I feel like the data barrage master, #FantasyLife, Kevin Tompkins, should maybe let us know if any of these guys have even got significant targets to be considered one above the other.
Significant targets. That's a no. I will tell you right now. I mean, Philadelphia, your starters can't even get like consistent targets. So that's a no on J-Jaw. Even Dede Westbrook, like I'm looking it up right now. I mean, he ran 2 routes last week. Like he is 4th right now behind Jefferson, Thielen, KJ Osborne. And then he's not even getting in the field ahead of like Chris Herndon and, CJ Ham and guys like that, in the passing game. So it's Skowronek, and I don't feel great about it. I mean, the only thing is he didn't even run a route. He didn't even run a route last week. So you're scraping for all 3 of these.
I thought Skowronek was inactive last week, or was that the week before?
Well, either way, he didn't run around last week.
Odell is supposed to play, so
yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that.
Am I right that Dede won the Klipnikov or whatever the award's called for best wide receiver?
The what?
The Bolitnikov award.
He did. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that he won best wide receiver.
Let me contact our interns here and.
Yeah, he did it when he was at. Yeah, it's the Bolitnikov.
With a B?
Yeah, BLIETNKOFF, I believe.
Yeah. The past renter, he was the Hunter Renfrow of like the 1970s, by the way. Fred Bolitnikov.
Oh, Dede.
No, Hunter.
What?
Bolitnikov was a Raider like back in the 70s, and he was Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah, Gary with some trivia. 2016 Bolitnikov Award winner.
Thought so, and yet has just done nothing.
Yep. Well, he did go to Jacksonville, to be fair, though.
I think it was like a second round pick, though. It was like the weird. I don't know. I just feel like if you win that award, you must be really good. I know nothing about college, but.
I don't know about that because Corey Coleman won it the year before. So.
Yeah, superstar, legend, Corey Coleman.
By the way, Justin Blackmon, 2-time winner of the Bolitnikov Award.
Also an actual legend. Like, dude, I mean, talk about shit demons and unfilled.
One of those definitely one of those huge what ifs.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Peter Byrne, Minshew or Mac Jones for QB2 and Superflex? Gotta be Mac. I mean, it's a tough matchup against Buffalo, but I feel much better about him than Gardner Minshew.
I've got to go Minshew. Yeah, I can't trust like the weather, the matchup, like just all of it is. I feel like we're gonna have one of those like 13-10 or 10-7 games, just with all the nasty weather going on, and the whole narrative of like, yeah, well, he plays in New England. Well, he hasn't played in New England long enough to be used to playing in those conditions. Minshew did play in Washington, so I think he's a little more used to playing in colder weather. Yeah, I've got to go Minshew. I think Belichick runs it as well. Ugh.
Minshew's playing in Miami. I'm gonna give my typical answer. It's not. It says Giants at Miami. Oh my God, Eagles.
Minshew,
what is going on
Philadelphia.
with my head today,
At
dude?
Jets.
Okay, I'm gonna give my typical answer of depending on your team needs. Like Mac Jones is gonna be the floor play. Like he's gonna be solid to get you. I don't know, 15, maybe 10 to 15, 18 points. Maybe Minshew is the ceiling. Minshew could easily throw for 3 touchdowns. I don't think it's that crazy. I do not see even a world where Mac Jones throws for more than what? Maybe 2 touchdowns, probably just 1. I think they're just going to run the hell out of the ball.
Except for last week when he killed my prop pick by throwing a career high in yardage, because of course he did. But no, that's not going to happen again this week.
It's Mac Jones. I mean, Mac Jones, offensive rookie of the year by Mac Jones, by the way.
I mean, yeah.
That's a lot.
It's between him or Chase.
Yeah, I mean, I guess rookie of the year is not fantasy. That's like real life. So,
well, if the Patriots like either win the division or make the playoffs, it's got to be Mac Jones.
Yeah,
I would think. By the way, I don't know if you guys saw the. We can conclude with this. It's not a question, but it's just something I saw. Yeah, thank you. By the way, I was going to get to the Rusky there that decided to comment there. I don't know if Gary did that or somebody that blocked.
Me. Get these commies out of here.
Yeah, this is we're about socialism, not capitalism. Anyway, so Kenny Pickett last night in the Pitt Wake Forest ACC chat. Did you guys see the fake slide that he did?
So I watched it over and over and over again, and I think I'm not quite sure that it was a fake slide or if he was just like that it was an intentional fake slide, or if he was like, oh, this defender is so far away, and then like not switched gears, but just switched train of thought in mid slide and then decided to go for it. I don't think it was intended to be dirty. I think it was just awareness.
But I don't think it was intended to be dirty either, but I think something like that, it's a judgment call on the referee's side to where you could blow the play dead. And I think that has to be something that you kind of have to you have to do something about it this offseason, either in college, and probably that's something you transition to the pros too, which I think, because you're already limiting the defense on what they can do. If quarterbacks are out here fake sliding, A, a quarterback's going to get destroyed. B, defenses, you ain't liking that one. I'll tell you right now.
Oh man, that's wild. I'm just seeing it right now. I'm watching the video. It definitely looks like he drags that foot like he is about to slide. So the weird thing is that he's going to have to get crushed from the side. It's not about the guy in front of him. That guy, number 6, that was on his just like back on his right. That dude would have destroyed him if he didn't slide.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's something that's going to be a rule where if you make any kind of motion to slide, you're giving yourself up.
So I mean, a balk, is that what it is in baseball?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's close enough to I guess that works for me, for lack of a better description of it. But yeah, I just something I saw and I didn't feel super strongly about it, but I feel like that's something where if in a different way, if that happened again, that could be bad. That could be like taking like Robert Griffin, that whole thing, taking a good quarterback away, or, defense having to stop suddenly. Dude tears an ACL. Boom. There you go. We don't know how to defend a quarterback now because they're out here fake sliding and, I don't know. I got nothing. I'm on my soapbox. I'm done.
I got a screaming kid in the background, so that's fine.
That's to get out of here. So if you have more questions for week 13, send them on over to us at K Tompkins II, at Haddow 27, at Britt _Flinn. Anything else before we hop on off of here?
Eckler or Mixon? Just pick one right now for DFS.
Eckler
DraftKings or
For
FanDuel.
DK also.
Eckler. Yeah.
Eckler.
Okay, that's what I put in. I'll send you guys the lineup I just created.
All right. Beautiful.
All right. Sounds good. We are out of here. We'll see you for Wednesday lightning round. We will see you next Sunday for week 14. Calm before the storm. For Gary, for Britt, I'm Kevin Tompkins. Good luck in your week. Lucky number 13.